Welcome, Master Lama Rasaji, and this is our Monday edition of Rasaji Speaks. Don't forget, Master David has music class today at 1 o'clock and instrumental class at 1:30, and there's a lot of exciting things happening leading up to Denver. That being said, you're going to have phenomenal musical surprise if you're there or if you're live streaming. Early bird streaming is still going on right now, and that will change a few days before the event actually happens between the 21st and the 26th. So there might be a few tickets done you can get. Check with Sister Deborah. There was a lot of last minute signing up, especially for the combination of boot camp and the tour. Today's subject matter is on the lineage of the Lamasery. It's been going on for 3,000 years. And kind of like how llamas are chosen, right? And how kind of the pecking order of everything, right? So I'll give you from the roots up and you'll understand the concept. They are student first, usually a private student next if they're serious, and a member of COC. Then they usually become a teacher, an adept, a master, a Lama, and then maybe one day a master Lama. That being said, right, teachers can train students, but only adepts can train teachers, right? Adepts can train teachers and students, but only masters and above can train an adept. We're getting ready to promote someone to adept. It looks like this coming January, we'll have our second adept. It'll be one of the peers, which will have an enormous meaning about that. And of course, you'll see that in the convention going forward, right? So then you have, of course, Lamas can train masters. Master Lamas can train Lamas and down. And of course, Maha Lama or Lamaji controls their both. Lamas can be called Lama. No one's called Lamaji unless they're one of the 12 chosen. And then there's only one Maha Lamaji at a time. When they go to vote for the next Maha Lama, the 24 lamas that are lamas have a single vote, and then the master lamas have two votes to do that. And that's already being discussed right now. So it's very important down the road that before Maha Lamaji Bogyang leaves the planet or whatever he decides to do. To be frankly, I think he could stay as long as he wants to, and he's already extended his stay. Not bad for 118, right? We want to get that Lamasery up and running before that transition begins to happen. So that's the training and the pecking order of training, right? But in promotion, it's a little bit different, right? It's a little bit different. It takes a Lama or higher to actually promote someone to adept, which means it's two stages above. It takes a master Lama to promote somebody to master or higher. And only the Maha Supreme Lama has the final say about lamas and lama masters. And again, you understand voting. That's how this is done. And when you understand that, then you'll understand why the quality is such, right? And you come to the wellness center sometimes, and all the girls are helping you with your group classes. In a group setting, they might be helping you with their form. And you have to understand any of the teachers that are there, like Dawn, Brienne, Cole, Mita, Deborah, they're getting more training and more teaching in 1 year than most of our teachers in training will get in 3 to 5 years. That's number one. But again, only an adept like Mita can actually train privately a teacher, right? Now, of course, that'll change, like I said, in January. And our goal is by 2030 is to have somewhere between, you know, 10 to 20 adepts and maybe a new master and a good chance for a new Lama. So that's the way that we're kind of figuring out. In that same time period, like you heard, you know, the segment with John and Andy, and especially President Nate about where we're going. So we're going to get to a point that it'll be an adept or higher that's actually managing a wellness center, adept or higher that is managing a farm or ranch, an adept or higher that is managing the Siddhana centers. Now, the fastest road to adeptship is get your 3 to 6 certifications, yin and yang, in. But the final choice about adeptship, and every level has this final choice that only their predecessors can make that determination in the leadership above them, and that is spiritual character, right? Spiritual character. Because you have people from time to time that come and go for many reasons, and they're a teacher, maybe with their first certification. By the time they get their second, very few people leave when that happens. But every now and then, there does happen, you know. But an adept, I've only seen maybe one adept leave in 40 years. Think about that for a second. We don't promote people, squeegee people into, because the center of what we're doing is built around adepts. And adepts usually have 5 to 10 years of training under their belt. They're pretty solid in the system. They practice religiously every day. We're not a religion, but they practice religiously. There's a difference between those two terminologies. Most people don't know that. Sometimes even people here make that mistake. So, and it usually means that they've had a good 3 to 5 years of teaching, about 2 years of mentoring to someone individually, and they're an adept or a master already in some other form of life. In other words, they could have been a school teacher with a master's degree, or like, you know, Master David. They have a master's degree in music, or like Sister Penny, or like Lamaji, who was adept or master already in martial arts, right? And with every level, that's assumed, right? Also, an adept to become a master will have to have all 6 certifications. They'll have to know the form inside and outside just to become adept, but now they have to be able to teach the form and explain every move and every application. And that is true with all the exercises that make up the 6 certifications. They have to have a minimum of 5 people that they've been training for 3 years or longer. In other words, these people have stuck with them, right? They have to be able to teach at least 20 to 30 people still in a group class. And in that group class, about an average of about 50% of the people have been with them 2 or 3 years. That denotes the quality of that. They also have to be a master in some other field, like Master David again with music and Lama Chi with it. That succeeds up. So if you want to know why the Chi, the energy, the quality, and the retention is so incredible. Well, I just Lama Chi laid out the structure for you. Sister Emmy asked me to do it. So maybe now you can sit down for those people that are choosing to be teachers, one day adepts and masters, and you can begin to plot all of this out. It's really, really powerful. Usually, a master lama is usually a master in three or more other significance. In other words, like me with martial arts and business and investing. And you see what I'm saying? You've got to be affluent in two or three other fields in your life, because then when you mentor people, you carry an incredible strong weight and you have incredible grounding and incredible discernment. All right. And as we say in the Far East, Baraka Bashar, hope this made things clear to you. God bless you and God bless your family. And I'll see you tomorrow on Tuesday's edition of Rasaji Speaks. God bless.